Why on earth are the bishops and the Pope now supporting the illegal aliens from Mexico flooding into the country? Isn't it a mortal sin to break a law like that, to come into the country, into any country, illegally, and maybe even bring your kids? And what kind of life are you giving them? It's like robbing a liquor store and taking your kids along with you. They're probably going to get hurt. The same thing when you enter a country illegally. You bring your kids, they're probably going to get hurt. And it's not the fault of the liquor store or the other country when they have problems, when you force them to come into the country illegally. Now, the bishops and the Pope seem to have a problem with the American government because we're trying to enforce our laws. Now, how much culpability or how much of a sin is it for the bishops and the Pope to support other people who are coming into the country illegally because they're already in the sin, so they're supporting sinners? You know, I mean, obviously you're not supposed to line these people up against the wall and shoot them all. I mean, you got to be compassionate while you're returning them to their country of origin. I mean, it's just, you got to be compassionate about it. But for the Pope and the bishops to try to make it the responsibility of the American people and the president to take care of like the dreamers and let them all be naturalized citizens, and everybody who's here just make them all naturalized citizens and totally destroy the working class in the United States. What are they thinking? I mean, on the surface of it, you can just see it's a mortal sin, and underneath it, it just smacks of jealousy and some kind of third world rage that we were more successful than them. Just you can like rise to the same level of success. You just got to have a democracy and not have your generals keep taking over your governments. And if the bishops think that in Mexico that the Mexicans have such a hard time in Mexico, so they're justified in coming to the United States and breaking the law, then why aren't you speaking out against Mexico? Come on, Pope. Come on, American bishops. You should be speaking out against the Mexican government. If it's so bad and it's so horrible that all these Mexicans are coming to the United States and they're going to, impoverish our middle class, then you should be speaking out against the Mexican government and telling them to provide opportunities for the Mexican people instead of trying to tell the president, telling Trump, telling us to support the people coming in. I mean, it's not our responsibility to support another country's citizens. They're not our citizens. They didn't come in the country legally. I mean, it makes me feel like like a total heel or a sucker because I went to mass this morning. It's Monday. I went to mass. I go to a daily mass, and now I just saw the Pope coming out for the Dreamers this morning, and I just feel like such a sucker. Like, they're just doing this for money? I mean, what is it even? The Catholic Pope, I'm a Catholic, and the Pope, my bishops in America are supporting illegals. That's a mortal sin. It's a mortal sin. I went to catechism. I understand venial sins and mortal sins, and they're breaking the law. And if they're not, the bishops and the Pope aren't speaking against the Mexican government because it's so horrible, which it apparently is not because they're not speaking against them, then they're in mortal sin. I mean, the Pope's in mortal sin, publicly trying to say we should support them, not saying anything that they should return home or anything. I feel like such a sucker for being Catholic right now, let me tell you. The Catholic Church might be the one true church. It might be, and I'm saying might because of this, that just, how could you have such inept leadership in the church? And I understand, yes, I've read church history, and I know what happened during the Middle Ages. I know that the bubonic plague pretty much wiped out all the bishops, and and the king started appointing bishops, and it just got a big mess. But the teaching stayed the same. So someone's got to call out the bishops, and I know it's not some dude that they've never heard of like me, but you guys are in mortal sin. Clean up your act. I mean, just clean up your act.